welcome back to the Viper Miner channel. Today I want to go over a couple things that I saw in the market, some headlines, and a couple observations that I see moving forward. It's a short video, so please hit that subscribe button, notification, and if you have any comments or want me to look at something else, put it in the comments. But I appreciate if you guys will subscribe, trying to build the channel. Okay, so I want to start out with one of the things I do first thing in the morning is I always look at CNBC and about 6 other websites. I'll leave a link in the card up over here, I think. Part 1 of the video, kind of like how I start my day out. And so this is always kind of related to this little section here is usually related to what's going on from a calendar standpoint on news coming out. And I'll show you, actually I'll show you right now. So the best calendar I found is forexfactory.com. If you guys, I remember from the other video. So it kind of shows you, you can do it weekday, month, however you want to do it. But so today's the 14th, Friday. So what's nice is they color code this. So core retail sales came out. You know, it jumped. They were forecasting for -1. We actually got positive. Retail sales flat, and then consumer settlement is up as well. So a little bit of mixed numbers between here and the core CPIs, but that's kind of what's in this area here. But then down here, this is kind of like the big headlines that come in here, okay? And for reference, it's October 14th around 1:05 p.m. Eastern time. I don't need to watch live, but here are 2 of the things that caught my attention right off the bat. And I'm not a big, and I'll tell you right now, I am not a big fan of Jamie Dimon. I think he's a crook, personally, my personal opinion. He exploits fees on the little guys big time and small businesses big time. And being a small business owner, I actually moved my accounts away from them because the fees were just incredible. But the one thing he does do is he knows how to make money, and he's really good at it, and he's done a lot for Chase. So I can't fault him for that part. And for full disclosure, I actually do invest in Chase stock because it makes money. So if I can't beat him, I'll join him. But so anyway, so this article basically talks about the UK pensions and how they had to lift, basically put a floor on it and start leveraging, keyword leveraging. So it's a really good article. I'll leave a link in the comments. I would definitely read this. He does go through here towards somewhere in the end here. He does say that the financial, our banking system is extraordinarily strong post 2008 debacle that we had, financial debacle. So I don't think our banking system's in trouble. I have to agree with that. But what happens across the pond does affect us, and what happens in our markets here in the United States does affect crypto. So everything's connected, everything's intertwined, right? That's why a lot of hedge funds and a lot of large investors are going to neural net AIs and stuff like that, because everything's intertwined. Like it or not, it's all it's a global world. So anyway, that's one article that caught my attention, and which is signaling more pain here in the United States. And then the other one is, you know, we have a new prime minister over in Britain. And so the UK government bonds and that, they had to go lift them again. And the predecessor, Boris, was outrageously raging. It was like 19 to 25% increase in corporate tax. And just like here in the United States, companies in the UK and the United States do not pay tax. Okay, yes, they pay tax. Okay, don't get me wrong, they do pay a tax, but they're not physically paying that tax. They're charging. It goes up in two ways: either they raise the physical product price, or they shrink the product amount. And then actually, there's three ways, and the third way is they do both. In any case, another good article. I'll link this one as well in the comments. It's, even though we're all crypto miners or we're crypto investors, you got to keep an eye on the whole 360 of the global the market. Okay, so let's get back to crypto, and I wanted to go through here. So we got our 37 rig 8 cards, and remember, you have to do current profit. Don't do any of the time frames, and in current values, don't do any of the current. That's this way you get right now what's going on. 14-cent electric is kind of the national average from what I can see. There's a couple places you can go check that. But so if we do calculate right now, and I don't understand why these are showing up here. If anybody knows why, please leave a comment. Actually, take that back. These are actually got pricing. The last time I did this, there was no pricing in this. In the nice hashes, and since I don't trade nice hash, I don't even pay attention to that. So, but here I don't understand why I'm getting, this is not even populating until I get to ERGO here. And I don't know, is that because, do these require more than 8 gig or something? I don't know. Anyway, so here's ERGO's on top of the list for the 3070s. What a negative $1.82 profit. So not good still, right? Unless you want to stack. If you were going to stack ERGO, now with the new algorithm, at least you're getting a little over 22 coin after the new EIP. So that seems to be working good. It's not as good as other coins, but it is, and we'll go look at that in a second. But it's definitely an improvement. Okay. And then you got Ubiquity, Vertcoin. Now, I've actually been mining these two, stacking some bags, because who knows where price discovery is going to be, right? And then ETH Classic is actually popping up. Still $2.23 negative. Caspa's down here now, and then Flux is way down here. Flux on the 3070 is not that efficient. But what I did want to look at now is, where is it that, because I have a couple ideas and I'm going to share with you guys in a second. So what if we were at a 12 cent cost for our electric, and we come down here, ERGO's $1.32, and if we went to 10 cent, ERGO's still on top with 82 cents, and we're getting close, right? And then, whoops, I just did, yeah, I did that right, sorry. ERGO is now 32 cents at 8 cents a kilowatt. And if we go to 7 cents, I think that's when we break even. 7 cents, I kind of call that breaking even. You're not, because you're going to mine a little bit better than what the mine's got. But if we actually were, let's say we're able to drop our electric cost down to 5 cents a kilowatt. Now we're making money, right? So even if we were at 6 cents, I think we actually are making money still. Yeah, 18 cents. So that 5.5 to 6 cents a kilowatt is the sweet spot right now, today, October 14th at 1:15 p.m. So what can we do to bring that down, right? So that's even below my 8 cents, right? And I have solar. That's why I keep my electrics down so much. A little PSA: if you're looking at doing solar for your entire house, don't make the mistake I made. Learn from my mistake. They pushed really hard. It's either called, depending where you're at and what company you talk to, it's either called net metering, which is basically you send everything to the electric grid and then you get a credit back, which is not So you only get paid on the first tier. So if you go beyond, like here in Florida with Duke Energy, after 1,000 kilowatts, you pay a higher price. You don't get that higher price. You get the cheaper price. Plus, they don't pay you the fuel charge. Okay, so you're getting charged a fuel charge. So you're already behind the eight ball. So it's net metering, or net zero is the other term they use. And I would never do that. If I had it all over again, and when we actually turn around and build out our retirement home out in North Carolina and all that, we are going to go ahead and do this. And that's solar, but to batteries, either Tesla batteries or some other lithium ion batteries. Because if I could take myself off the grid for a period of time, I'm not paying that fuel charge as well. To me, that's, if you start running the numbers, you'll actually recoup your cost a whole lot faster. So learn from my mistakes, my personal opinion. But anyway, so I am looking at I'm at 8 cents. So how can I lower that just 2 cents? And so I have a couple ideas that I'm going to share in another video. So big T's. And I've almost done with all the research and the pricing on that, and I'll share that with you guys. So give me about another day or two. I'm waiting for a couple vendors to call me back, so with some pricing, so I can figure out what exactly our options are. And I kind of want to, and I basically told them what, who I am and what I'm doing, and also showed, what if I didn't have a whole house solar system? What can you do for me? So this way you guys can learn from that as well. Okay, so the other thing I want to go over, so our coins here today, I probably ask this question to myself every single time. Is there a dark mode to this? And I never see it. At least I don't see it off right away. So let's go look at Flux real quick. So network hash is one thing to look at, right? So that's, and if we do 3 days and expand that out maybe for a couple days there. So network hash has been kind of within a range here, right? But that's not what we're really worried about. I want to know what the difficulty is, right? The difficulty is, how much are we going to be able to push in our bags? And so it looks like they are coming down, and they do play in this range, right? So one of the things I do is sometimes it does kind of sit on the higher end. So I will, like back here in October, it sat here in the higher end, kind of sat here in the higher end. And these are 1 hour increments, I think. So I try to not switch my rigs constantly, but I will pull off maybe a rig or half a rig. I have different flight sheets and different overclock set to mine other coins when difficulty of flux gets too high. And the nice thing about here is if you scroll down, you can get at least a day's worth, compare day over day of what's going on. So you see our difficulty is definitely up. Price has gone up again. Price was actually around 66 cents, 67 cents flux yesterday at one point. ETH was below 12.16. So I actually physically bought some flux to help get to my Nimbus node. So that's, what for flux. Then the other one that I try to keep track of, and I've been mining, is ERGO. And people are gaming ERGO still because it has been, their EIP is definitely an improvement. Thank you guys for doing that. But you'll see from 1250 to 1710, and then it comes down, and you got another, and you can predict, where this is going to be, which is fine, but people are coming on and off. So if you actually look at network hash, I think you got to go to 1 day or 12 hours, somewhere in here I figured out. So our network hash has been kind of sitting there, but whenever it goes down, that's when the difficulty goes up. So this needs to be more flat, and it is starting to get flat more. So I like to see the difficulty be more flat as well, and be corresponding so people don't game it. Okay. One other one let's look at real quick. I think it's on here. It may not be on here. Meow. There it is. Meow coin. So Meow coin is definitely grabbing attraction. Like I said in the past videos, it does help with animal shelters and stuff like that, which I think is a fantastic, fantastic thing. And so difficulty is actually coming down on it a little bit. It did spike here and over here a little bit as people were coming on and YouTubers were talking about it. If they, I've read off of their white papers and that, if they really stick to what they're doing, this is going to be this is exactly what the blockchain is supposed to be doing. It's helping people, helping solve a problem, and this is what this does. So a portion of their profits go to the shelters, which is really nice. And so I definitely want to support these guys. I am looking at throwing some, and because it's on Compound, I'm looking at throwing some AMD cards back on this again. I did mine early on, and then I will. I think I'm going to go and just kind of maintain a card or two on here. It won't take much to maintain because it's such low network hash right now. So and difficulty rate is what, 6.8K. I mean, this is really nice. All right, so then the next thing I want to talk about is KuCoin. Now I love KuCoin, but they're starting to piss me off. Sorry, KuCoin, but you guys, I can't recommend KuCoin right now. My personal opinion. For over a week now, ERGO has, if you're sending money, if you're mining to this exchange, you won't see it. And if you're trying to move your ERGO out, you can't see it. So I actually put ERGO in here. I actually have a little extra ERGO. I had to make a payment to somebody. I bought a couple of PSUs and stuff like that, and I asked them how they wanted me to pay them, and they said, well, I'll take ERGO. It's like, oh, hey, that's great. I'm happy to do that. And so I added more ERGO in here than I needed to, so I'm trying to pull about 20 ERGO out, and I can't do it now. And luckily, he got his payment before this went down. This was about 2 weeks ago, and it's been down shortly after that. So this is horrible, and no ETA. They won't tell you. They keep saying upgrade. That's bull, because other exchanges are running just fine with ERGO. I mean, Zelcore has no problem with ERGO right now. Okay, so KuCoin, get your act together, because right now anything that I actually have in KuCoin, I've already moved out, because I don't know if this is a sign of something happening with KuCoin. So stay tuned. If I see more of this kind of snaggings going on, this is not good. Okay. Like I just wanted to point out that ETH was down. What was it? 1216.50. This is I think we got a lot more hardship to go, especially in ETH. And if we go back out here and we do an update here. ETH did, for the first time this week, for the last 7 days, ETH is actually outpacing Bitcoin for a recovery, but ETH dipped a whole lot further down and came back up. So this percentage for the last 24 hours is kind of misleading, because Bitcoin did not dip as far, and so it had less of a percentage to recover on. But overall, I mean, Bitcoin, ETH has been plummeting harder and faster than Bitcoin. I think ETH has got a very rocky road to go through still. I think even emerging from the winter, I think ETH is going to have a rocky start. I'm going to link I'm going to share it on Twitter. So go to my Twitter handle. It's ViperMiner1, and there's a interview there with Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, and he's a very big crypto bull, and he's he's really smart when it comes to financial assets and stuff like that. His company builds indexes, ETFs and stuff like that. And he does really, and he's in that business, so he knows what he's talking about. But he's talking about regulation in the crypto space, and about the stablecoin that the U.S. wants to do, and a bunch of stuff that he's been trying to educate our Congress on here in the United States. And it's a really interesting interview. Now it's from one viewpoint, and it's of regulation, of the U.S. regulating certain things, but his viewpoint is that crypto is going to be stagnant until we have clarity on what the U.S. is going to do. And I kind of agree with that. I don't want the government in my crypto, but we need to know where the line is, right? Right now, it's too vague. I mean, try doing your taxes; it's a nightmare. So it's a really good interview. Go ahead and look at it if you want, and it gives you at least one perspective of how the market's reacting. Okay, and then one of the things here I always look at, like I said, is here. This is Forex Factory. It's the best place for a good calendar. But you can notice when we were going down pretty hard, the Fed was talking, the Fed meetings came out. So that just shows you that Bitcoin and the crypto industry is tied to this. Okay. At least for the time being. Okay. I'm hoping it does separate itself, because that's not what Bitcoin was meant to be. But unfortunately, right now, I think because there is a lack of clarity on what the government is doing, we're kind of tied to that. Okay. All right. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, and stay tuned. I want to see if I can get this number dropped, this kilowatt number dropped. Like I said, I got a couple ideas. I got a couple irons in the fire, trying to get those. I'll try to get a video out to you midweek next week, maybe early next week. Depends. It is Friday, unfortunately, and I haven't heard back from two of the vendors, and one of the vendors is the one that I think is promising. So I am spec mining. I am still mining, and I am pretty hard into Flux right now. And a lot of people ask, why aren't you buying Flux? Why are you mining it? Because there's a lot of fees that go into it, right? So if I just mine, and I can mine to, I am mining right to Zelcore. So it's really kind of nice from that standpoint. I can just not have any other fees, and I go make my nodes then. Okay. All right, guys, please hit that like button, subscribe, and catch you on the next video. Stay safe, and God bless, and try to be profitable.